All right, picking every game for Week 18. It's a tough week to pick. Obviously, there's a ton of teams that are resting starters for the playoffs. A lot of teams that are still playing hard, so it's really tough making these spread picks. But I think we're still going to get some good ones. A lot of people are scared of this, but I think if you watch enough of the game, you see some of these backups, you see how they play. I think you could still make some pretty good educated guesses. There's definitely some backups in this league that can still beat the starters. I'll just say that. I actually get to wear my Saints drip. Feeling proud. That's a sneak peek at an early future pick. Saints been rolling. Tyler Shuck, love him. Finally have some hope as a Saints fan. Anyway, let's get into this first game. So we got the Panthers versus the Bucks. Buccaneers are a 3-point favorite, even though they are the worst team in the NFL in the past 10 weeks. I can't believe that they're actually still here. Favorite in this game. I'm going to take the Panthers +3. They don't necessarily have to win. I just think the Bucks have been so bad. Every game has come down close. It just really depends which Bryce Young do we get. Do we get the Bryce Young that can only throw 50 yards in a game against the Seahawks, or do we get the Bryce Young that is able to put 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, and go absolutely ham? So, which one we'll get? Who knows? I'm going to go with it being a close game regardless. They still have a solid team. Buccaneers, another one. If they can get hot, get into that early season form, they could make a push, but still like the Panthers in this one. Buccaneers might not even make it if the Saints beat the Falcons. And then next game, we got Seahawks 49ers, -2.5 for the Seahawks. 49ers have been the hottest team in the NFL right now. Them and the Jags absolutely on fire. Seahawks, obviously the 1 seed. I think they're a fantastic team. I had them at number 1 in my power rankings for this one, but I just don't think it's a really good. It's a really good scene. I'm really getting flashbacks to last season with the Vikings and Sam Darnold, where he just collapsed in that last game, game that meant it all for the 1 seed. I cannot believe NFL scriptwriters went absolutely fire with that one. So in this exact circumstance that we had last season, Sam Darnold absolutely choked and got destroyed. 49ers have been so hot, up there for the hottest team, so I'm going to take the 49ers to upset the Seahawks this week. I think that they've just been absolutely rolling. Brock Purdy, 2 5-touchdown performances. He's killing it. The 49ers offense is killing it. I do still expect a shootout, though. 49ers defense is pretty terrible. And Sam Darnold against really bad defenses has been going off this year. So I think he'll still play well. I just think that 49ers offense is just too hot. So I like the 49ers in this one. And then we got my Saints, who dat baby, against the Falcons. This game actually has some serious implications. If the Buccaneers can manage to beat the Panthers this week, you'll still have the Buccaneers out of the playoffs if the Saints are able to beat the Falcons. And the Saints have also been one of the hottest teams. Tyler Shuck, he's looking like the franchise guy, getting a lot of respect. Saints 4-game winning streak, looking to make it 5. Falcons did just come off of that win over the Rams. Got to give him respect. Bijan Robinson, he's obviously a dog, 190 yards last game. But I just really like Tyler Shuck. He's been killing it. Obviously, I'm full of bias right here, but Saints have been killing it. Finally looking good. Everyone thought the Saints were one of the worst teams down there with the Jets and the Raiders this year. And Tyler Shuck has just turned the whole thing, the whole situation, everyone's opinions around on the Saints. So I like the Saints continuing this hot streak into next season and taking the Saints over the Falcons in this one. And then we got the Cowboys and Giants. Dak Prescott starters for Cowboys are playing. They're trying to get to a 500 record. They don't want a losing season on the books. So obviously still got a lot to play for, and the Giants are really bad. They're looking to possibly get the number 2 overall pick. So I'm going to take the Cowboys in this one. Probably not going to be pretty. Dak historically absolutely crushes the Giants. Jackson Dart's still a rookie, still fresh. Even though the Cowboys defense is terrible, Dak has been a top 10 quarterback, no doubt, this year. And I think he'll go absolutely ham on that Giants team. Then we got the Bengals Browns. Bengals coming off of an absolute destruction in the last game, and then the Browns coming off of an upset over the Steelers. Obviously, both teams are playing pretty hot. Browns got to be happy that they possibly ruined their division rivals' season, and here we are with Bengals, 2 teams that are eliminated, but both teams' starters still playing. Shador's possible last game as a starter, we shall certainly see. I'm going to take the Bengals in this one, -7.5. Bengals got a terrible defense. Shador has shown that he can light it up like he did against the Titans. Bengals do have a terrible defense, so it's possible. But that Bengals offense is absolutely rolling. I really like Joe Burrow to be able to continue the hype. Even though that Browns defense is great, Myles Garrett is chasing the record, and I do think he gets the record. I don't think Burrow's going to be the kind of guy to lose a game not to give him the record. So I'm going to take the Bengals to cover this one. I think they're just so rolling. Even if Shador goes off, I expect the Bengals to drop 30 regardless. So going to take the Bengals to cover that one. Think Joe Burrow rolls. And then we have the Packers versus the Vikings, -8.5. This Vikings team has a chance to go above 500 this year, and that is crazy. They have had awful quarterback play. Really exciting for them. I can't believe that they were able to withstand that. They really look like clowns for letting Sam Darnold go. They definitely could be a contender right now if they didn't have J.J. McCarthy and his health situation and just not playing poorly. But he is going to be back this game, and I do think he's still better than Clayton Tune, the third-string quarterback for the Packers. Packers are even resting Malik Willis. Just to be safe. So I think the Packers are going to be really bad. Their defense has really been struggling. J.J. McCarthy might finally have a solid game, but that Vikings defense, Clayton Tune, is not going to be able to do anything against it. So I really like the Vikings in this one. And then we have a division rivalry, Colts and Texans. Texans are still playing their starters. They're not really going to win their division, so it's just between a 5 and a 6 seed. So still a little bit to play for. And then the Colts are going to be starting Riley Leonard. The Phillip Rivers era is over. It was really fun to watch. It's a shame. But I really like the Texans in this one, minus 10.5. I think Riley Leonard going against that Texans defense, it's going to be ugly. It's not going to be pretty. I think you will really see Phillip Rivers deserved a lot more respect. I think that's what we have to anticipate. The Texans, obviously, offensively, they really need to get it together. Colts defense hasn't been too stout recently, so I like the Texans to absolutely roll on the Colts. Colts might not score 10 points in that game. And then Titans, Jags, huge line. Probably the hottest team in the NFL right now in the Jags. I think this one's a really tough one. Obviously, 2 scores, 2 touchdowns. Jags can absolutely win by 2 touchdowns, but who's to say that once they have this win, they're going to completely let off the gas? They already have their division locked up. That they could possibly still get the 1 seed, so obviously they care about winning. But I don't think they're going to put any players' health at jeopardy in this one. So I don't think the Jags are really going to have their foot on the gas too hard this game. So I'm going to take the Titans to cover the plus 12.5. Still have no expectation for them to win, but Cam Ward has been a little bit better. So lose by 10, absolutely, I could see it. So I like the Titans to cover 12.5, but still lose. And then we have the Chiefs 5.5 over the Raiders, which is crazy. Now the Raiders do not have Geno Smith. This is important because last time we saw Kenny Pickett go out, they dropped a fat 0. Okay, Geno's been terrible, but we have not seen great quarterback play from their backups. Aiden O'Connell possibly could have a start in this one. We'll see how that one goes. But Chiefs, Olakawun, I can't say his name, but he's Nigerian, the third-string quarterback for the Chiefs. In his first game against the Broncos, very solid defense. He really didn't play terrible at all. He was really solid as a game manager. Only 1 sack allowed, no turnovers. That's exactly what you want. Chiefs have a really solid defense, and this Raiders offense is going to be really struggling. So I think the Chiefs can still win this game. But 5.5 is kind of crazy. I think that we're probably going to most definitely hit the under in this one. I'm looking at like maybe a 10 to 13 kind of game. Really just depends what we get out of Kenny Pickett or Aiden O'Connell. But Chiefs still have a solid defense, but just no run game, and I don't think they're going to be too efficient with Olakau'atu. So really tough one, honestly. I think I'm going to still go with the Chiefs. Just expect a really low-scoring game. So I'm going to go 17 to 10 kind of win. Super low scoring. Maybe even like a 14 to 7 would get the job done, but I think it's going to be ugly. And then we have the Lions versus the Bears. Even though the Bears are leagues ahead, and some people have them as Super Bowl contenders this year, and the Lions are eliminated out of the playoffs, they still have the line only at 3 points. That's essentially a pick 'em. If it was 2.5, that would really basically be a pick 'em. But Bears, Lions still have a lot to play for. They still have their starters out. They want to make a statement against the Bears, obviously. But Bears are rolling. That offense is clicking. They lost against a crazy shootout with the 49ers, just barely. And the Bears still want to win still. They still got their starters and everything. And basically, since it's a pick 'em, I'm going to take the Bears to cover. But Lions are totally going to come out firing. They're going to be playing hard. I definitely think it'll be a high-scoring game. 30 to 27 kind of score, push, whatever. Taking the 3 points as basically a pick 'em. And then Chargers plus 13.5. Over the Broncos. Broncos favored by 2 touchdowns and 2 extra points. I definitely like the Chargers in this one. Trey Lance, I think, is much more serviceable than people give him respect for. He wasn't great as a starter when he was really young, but in his little games that he's shown that he could still be really explosive. So I think the Broncos might go sleeping into this game a little bit with the backups for the Chargers playing. And Broncos, I don't see them losing. I don't see them losing at all, but I think it's going to be competitive, and I think that it's definitely going to hit this over here. I think we could really see Trey Lance, go out there, ball out. He'll probably make some mistakes, have a couple interceptions, but he's still really solid. So I'm going to take the Chargers to cover this one, even though I still think the Broncos win. I just think Trey Lance is going to go out there and shock some people. And then we got Patriots, Dolphins. Patriots 11.5 favorites over the Dolphins. Patriots still fighting for a 1 seed. They have so much momentum right now. Dolphins with Quinn Ewers. I think eventually Quinn Ewers is going to slip up. There's a little bit more film on him now. Patriots, I think, will come prepared. I think Mike Vrabel will have them prepared. So I like the Patriots to win big in this one. And I don't think the Dolphins will be able to do too much. So maybe Dolphins only can score 10. Patriots absolutely will put 24 on the Dolphins. Drake Mays making an MVP case, and they're balling offensively this year. And then we got the Eagles, Commanders. Eagles are playing their backups, so it's going to be Tanner McKee against Josh Johnson on the Commanders. Josh Johnson against the Cowboys, he played pretty serviceable. He did really solid. 14 teams. Shout out to him. That's pretty cool. But Eagles still favored by 3.5. This is a really tough one to pick. Josh Johnson did pretty solid in the last game. Commanders are still playing their starters even though they have Josh Johnson. Eagles are definitely resting their starters. Eagles still have a little to play for though. But I think the Commanders have a really good shot to upset the Eagles this week. Eagles just rested on their starters. Commanders still have most of their starters. Josh Johnson played serviceable against the Cowboys. I don't think we'll see near the offensive output from the Eagles this year without a lot of their starters. So I like the Commanders to upset the Eagles this week. And then we have Cardinals versus Rams. This one's a really easy pick for me. Rams are super upset about the last game, losing to the Falcons. Sean McVay told them the starters, emphatically, the starters will be playing. So I think they're going to really come with a really hard game plan, really try and make a statement, get some momentum into the playoffs because they no longer have won their division. They'll be a wild card team. They have an uphill battle, even though I still think they're one of the best teams. So I like them to come playing hard. I like them to blow out the Cardinals pretty badly, and I'll take that 8.5. And then we have the Bills versus the Jets. Josh Allen's probably not going to play. The Bills don't really have anything to play for. You have his record, of course. So we've seen it last year. They only put Josh Allen in for the first play, and then they took him out and he didn't play. I think we'll see that again. Maybe James Cook plays. We'll see. And then the Jets, they still haven't committed to Brady Cook. No telling what's going to happen over there in the Jets. It's really tough because the line is 7.5. I don't think that the Bills will be doing too well. But I'm still going to take the Bills. If it was 6.5, I would really like it. 7.5, I'll take it. Jets offensively just haven't been able to do anything. Every team that plays them blows them out. They are on an ultimate dud streak, cold streak right now. So Mitch Trubisky, I think, will still go out there. And he really only has to put up 15 points. I can't see the Jets scoring more than 7. 2 field goals make it 6. They've just been really, really bad. And then biggest game of the week, I would say. We have Baltimore versus the Steelers fighting for their division. Winner makes the playoffs. Lamar Jackson is playing. Steelers coming off of that terrible loss to the Browns last week. I think that was a game plan thing. Aaron Rodgers trying to protect his legacy a little bit. Didn't want to be the guy that Myles Garrett got the record on and be replayed for years and years. So I think he definitely made a legacy personal decision right there. I think the Steelers should have won that game. If they had the game plan to win the game, they would have. But Ravens defense has been solid. I think that it's really possible that the Steelers come out struggling again like they did last week. We haven't really seen what they look like without DK Metcalf until last week. So whether it was Aaron Rodgers trying to play it safe or whether it was just them without DK Metcalf, we'll see. They didn't really run the ball last week. Possibly try and get more into that. But the Ravens last week destroyed the Packers. Even though Malik Willis played a really solid game, Derrick Henry just ran all over the Packers. Steelers have definitely shown that they are not that tough of a run defense. So I can really see Derrick Henry having another great game. We'll see what they do with Lamar. That was obviously Tyler Huntley. We'll see if they give Derrick Henry the rock 25 times again. It's definitely to be determined. I think the Ravens probably win. However, these matchups have been so close, so many years. Really wish I could think of the stat off the top of my head, but this one has come down to a one possession in like 7 out of the last 10 matchups. So I'm still going to take the Ravens probably to win, but I think it's going to be a really close game. You could totally see a game-winning field goal with like 2 minutes left and the Steelers can't make a drive, or even Steelers cut it to 3, don't get the ball back. Any really situation. I think it's going to be a close game regardless, though. We'll see what the Ravens look like with Lamar. They've been balling, just relying on Derrick Henry. And we'll see what the Steelers look like when they're not trying to protect their record from Myles Garrett. So that's my picks for this week. We went 8-8 last week. 500, not too bad, especially when it comes to spreads. Hoping for another great week. Went 15-2 the other week. That was awesome. Or 13-2 the other week. That was pretty awesome. But all right, that's all my picks. I appreciate you. If you made it this far, subscribe, check my stuff out. Got memes on shorts. Got more NFL, college football stuff. So check it out.